Good evening and welcome. You're with the News First, your number one news provider. I'm Shamir Rasudi.
And I'm Kumarini Rajakaruna.
3 explosions have rocked the city of Mumbai, according to media reports from India.
At least 15 people have been reported to be injured in the blast. We will have the latest developments on this story on the News First International Desk.
We'll start off the news with a look at tonight's headlines. The Ministerial Subcommittee on Food Safety and Cost of Living decides to hold discussions with import companies to look into the high prices of infant milk powder. Charges leveled against individuals, including several DNA MPs, for allegedly attacking police officers during a demonstration in Gaul, dropped. The opposition leader requests to appoint a parliamentary select committee to look into cricket. The OIC of Peter Badra transferred following a public protest.
For the stories in detail now, President Mahinda Rajapaksa has instructed officials of the Ministerial Subcommittee on Food Safety and Cost of Living to make preparations to purchase the harvest of the next season. The President had issued these instructions during a meeting held at Temple Trees yesterday.
Several ministers as well as secretaries to the ministries were present for this meeting of the Ministerial Subcommittee on Food Safety and Cost of Living chaired by the President. It was decided at this meeting that officials of the Ministerial Subcommittee should hold discussions with import companies in order to look into the high prices of infant milk powder. During the meeting, Janaki Kurupu, advisor to the Ministerial Subcommittee on Food Safety and Cost of Living, had noted that food prices have reduced slightly in the month of July. She had pointed out that inflation rates had dropped to 7.1% by the month of July. Meanwhile, speaking here, the Minister of Economic Development, Batul Rajapaksa, had stated that owing to the Divinagama program, vegetable cultivation in the country had increased.
The Gaul Magistrates Court today acquitted a group of individuals, including Democratic National Alliance parliamentarians Arjun Ranatunga, Vijay Herath and Ajit Kumara. The group was charged with allegedly attacking police officers during a demonstration in Gaul and unlawful assembly.
The Democratic National Alliance launched a demonstration on the 12th of August last year to press the government to uphold democracy and secure the release of Sarath Fonseca. The police disrupted the demonstration and also launched a tear gas attack in order to disperse the crowds. Subsequently, the police filed cases against a group of individuals, including parliamentarians Arjun Ranatunga, Vijay Herath and Ajit Kumara. When the case was called up today, Gaul Chief Magistrate Thamara Thinnakon stated that the Attorney General had informed the court that he does not wish to proceed with the case.
Just because we participated in a demonstration purely based on political revenge, they filed false charges against us and arrested us. This was what the government and police wished to do. We were acquitted of all this. The court discharged us.
General Sarath Fonseca මැතිතුමාව නිදහස් කරන්න කියලා ගාල්ලේ පැවතිච්ච උද්ඝෝෂණය.
During a demonstration which was held in Gaul to secure the release of the former army commander, we were subjected to a tear gas attack and various other forms of harassment. Subsequently, due to political influence, the police filed a case against us and went to court. However, the Attorney General looked into this case thoroughly, and because there was no evidence, everyone has been acquitted. You can see the manner in which the government has become helpless due to such actions. We are ashamed of the manner in which the police acted due to political influence.
The High Court case filed against former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca was postponed yet again. High Court Judge Sunil Rajapaksa postponed the case as the lawyer appearing on behalf of Sarath Fonseca had fallen ill.
The High Court case has been filed before the Colombo High Court, citing the former Army Commander, his son-in-law and another individual as accused. They have been charged with irregularities taking place when purchasing military equipment. The case will be taken up yet again on the 4th of August. Meanwhile, former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca received physiotherapy at a private hospital in Colombo today for a shoulder injury.
The manner in which military representatives are presented with senior ministerial posts is disgusting. The same thing was done to me by appointing me as the Chief of Defence Staff. The lack of gratitude and selfishness of these rulers are evident. Statements made by representatives of the Hello Rume, Allegunawan Satera and Vidura Vikramanayaka are very important. They will remain with us in the future.
Taking a look now at our developing story for tonight. UNP parliamentarian Iran Wickramaratne says that the public of the country should not be informed of the oil hedging agreement through a 140-page judgment passed by a foreign court.
The parliamentarian expressed this view while addressing a meeting of the Rotary Club of Colombo West.
It's really not just a verdict against the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, which has been asked to make good $162 million plus interest over a 3-year period. Citibank, who also has similar claims of nearly $200 million. Deutsche Bank, who has claims of nearly $60 million. All totaling over $400 million. But once you add the interest components, which will total probably more than $500 million, not mentioning People's Bank and Commercial Bank. We have the right to know who made the decision, when the decision was made, and were the people who made the decision informed about the decision. The people of this country have the right to know. We need to be informed of the details, not through some foreign court which passes a 140-page judgment. But this is our country and our resources, and our citizens need to have the right to know.
The JVP emphasized that the loss incurred from the hedging agreement must be paid by those involved in the transaction. Politburo member of the JVP parliamentarian Anurukumaratha Sanayaka expressed these views at a media briefing held today.
එන මේ හෙජින් පිළිබඳව පළමු අදහස කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයට ඉදිරිපත් කරන්නේ මහ බැංකුව අධිපති අජිත් නිවාඩ්.
It was Governor of the Central Bank Ajit Niwad Cabral who forwarded the first proposal to the cabinet about the hedging agreement. Subsequently, Secretary to the Ministry of Finance P.B. Jayasundara on the 19th of October 2006 appointed this evaluation committee. This report carries 5 key recommendations in order to arrive at this deal. It states that its execution needs to be carried out by the Petroleum Corporation. Based on these recommendations, Minister Fauzi forwarded a cabinet proposal as then Minister of Petroleum. Incidentally, the 5 proposals which had been stated in the cabinet proposal are the same recommendations that have been recommended by the evaluation report. It was postponed to the next meeting to seek observations from the Minister of Finance and Planning about the cabinet decision taken on the 13th of January 2007. Subsequently, his ministry put forward some recommendations. Those are the same recommendations made by Minister Fauzi. What are these recommendations? It states that the country should go for the hedging agreement. We would like to ask from the government as to who has to pay for this loss and the compensation. It is our fundamental view that the public should not bear this loss. The politicians and the relevant officials who got involved in this should pay for this loss.
මේ පාඩුව මේට හවුල්ලු දේශපාලකින් සහ නිලධාරීන් විසින් ගෙවි යුතු තිබෙනවා.
Now in May 2009, civil rights activist Nihal Sri Amarasekara petitioned the Supreme Court against the hedging agreement in the public interest. Now he made this move having convinced himself that the hedging agreement entered into by the CPC with several banks was not in the public interest and reeked of corruption. Today, Nihal Sri Amarasekara explained his views to News First.
One action I filed when I was informed that Standard Chartered Bank had remitted $100 billion by April 2009. I came to know that in May 2009. Within 30 days, I filed action. Objections were very strongly taken by counsel representing the banks that I should have come before court in February 2009, 1 month after the original 2 hedging cases filed by other petitioners had been terminated by the Supreme Court. Not to the counsel for the banks as well as the Honorable Attorney General, Mr. Mohan Piris, also vehemently objected leave being granted. So I was prevented from exercising the judicial power of the people with the Honorable Attorney General assuring the Supreme Court that he will succeed in the actions abroad. In Sri Lanka, it's a gambling transaction governed by the gambling ordinance, gaming ordinance. Developed law in UK cannot apply to the Sri Lanka situation.
Minister of Disaster Management Mahinda Amaravira says that an electricity crisis would not have arisen if water was properly managed during the rainy season. He expressed this view while attending a function organised to launch the new website of the National Building Research Organisation.
As the reservoirs filled with the heavy rain that was received, the Electricity Board came into a situation where it was making profits. However, the Electricity Board will have to incur huge losses if this drought continues. Not only do we have a shortage of water, we also have an issue pertaining to water management. The Electricity Board does not generate electricity through hydropower at once. If it was carried out gradually, a certain amount of electricity could have been generated. However, when it started to rain, they thought that the showers will continue. Our Met Department does not have facilities to give a 100% accurate forecast. Meanwhile, the media was briefed regarding the maps that have been drafted, demarcating the landslide-prone areas and the guidelines used for this purpose. The minister also inspected a high-end technical innovation that is used in laboratories to determine the stability of soil.
You're with the News First. Coming up on your news lineup tonight. News Corporation drops its plan to take full ownership of B Sky Beam. Libya's Gaddafi prepared to leave, says Ellen Juppe. And the latest on the tri-nation match between Sri Lanka and Ireland. Stay connected, stay with News First for the details of these stories and much more coming your way later on in the news bulletin.